The main purpose of our grant project, Same Storm, Different Boats, was to visually display how COVID affected our community. We were tasked to collect artifacts in the forms of videos, visuals, poetry, pictures, and even oral interviews to really paint this narrative. In the project, our role was to collect the videos and visuals portion of this and use historical reasoning and evidence to efficiently do this.
And as for experiences and leadership skills during this project, I saw each and every member of our group showcase their way of leading. For example, group members who were better with visual representation and appeal took the lead in orienting the look of the project slides. Similarly, group members who had the ability to phrase and summarize large stories into small captions were able to do so without many imperfections. Personally, I experienced what it really means to work in a group alongside your members. When someone needed help in an aspect of the project, a group member was always there to provide assistance. Likewise, when someone else was stuck, I saw myself and others tagging along to assist them and make sure that we work for the best outcome for our presentation.
Organization of our project was very important. In order to be more efficient in our work, we always assigned roles for an assignment before we worked on each. Like when we were designing the template for the exhibit, a couple of us worked on each slide. Also, it was very common for one of us to take initiative in the beginning of assignment to set roles, due dates, and a basic understanding of the task. Although we did our best to stay as organized as possible, there were times where we lacked communication and almost missed deadlines, which became stressful for us. Altogether, we learned to organize our work by assigning roles, and that it is very important to stay organized and communicate.
Some things we've excelled at were communicating with our group members and ensuring that each member works as hard as they can on their assigned task. However, that being said, it doesn't mean we didn't struggle with a few things. As like any other high schooler, we have priorities such as school and extracurriculars, which means that sometimes we forgot about deadlines until a few days prior. I would say, in my opinion, if we had designated a time every few days to work on our assigned tasks, we would have felt less rushed and been more productive. This being said, I still truly believe that we worked really hard on our project and came out with something that's truly wonderful and documented the COVID experience really well.
First, we learned how to virtually communicate with each other using iMessage group chat, as we didn't have a designated location to meet most of the time. Next, we also learned to use a platform called Google Classroom, as we were previously acquainted with Teams and Zoom during our virtual year. And lastly, we learned that Canvas tools and mechanics for a project were quite helpful and useful in meeting our needs. I'm quite confident that many of us will continue to use these platforms in the future.
The most difficult part about this project was meeting deadlines and finding time dedicated to working on this project. Sometimes it was hard to get together when we had an extra exam that week or other extracurriculars activities going on at the same time. But in the end, my group always managed to meet the deadline because of our strong work ethic and our strong communication skills.
Working on the Same Storm, Different Boats project was truly a memorable and insightful experience. Not to mention, on behalf of the Northview group, we are honored and appreciative to be able to take part in such a project. We'd like to thank Dr. Parada, Ms. Cross, the City of Johns Creek, and of course, Ms. Sanders.